Vlogging. So yesterday I got my super sweet Kent custom Rode case for my Rode Gemini and a 3-space rack that I really didn't know what I was gonna add to it at the time when I ordered it, but I figured, you know what, it's better than to not need it than to need a rack of some sort up top. And besides, when you get a live-in case for your head, it's always cool to have a rack because racks are cool, right? So I have no affiliation with Kent Custom, but they did a great job and I love the case. And ironically, it comes in a UPS box, and when it arrived, the UPS box was really beat up. And for a second, when you initially see a beat up box, you think, oh my God, is it okay? But then I thought, it's a Rode case, so I don't know. I don't even know why they boxed it. I mean, I get why they boxed it, but you know what I mean. Lumpy loves sitting directly in the sunlight because it keeps him warm and he goes into a sun coma. But for the upcoming Rest Repose shows, this is my pedal board and this is the Rode case with my Torpedo Live, and bye Lumpy. And this is my Rode Gemini that you guys have seen before. The rack was pretty simple. It's just a power conditioner, a 2-notes Torpedo Live, and then a drawer with stuff like picks and cables and a charger from my phone and some batteries. This is the Silverburst Hyperion prototype that I'll also be using for the shows, plural. And the reason why I showed you all this stuff is because I kind of had a really good thought, an epiphany kind of, when putting all this stuff together. The rack, the big fancy amp, the fancy pedal board, the custom guitar, and I got to thinking about my old YouTube videos, and I started thinking that, you know what, gear doesn't really matter. Let me explain. When I first started playing shows, I was using a Randall RG100 half stack and a single volume pedal right into the head. Now that is a very inexpensive setup. It was durable and it sounded great. I really enjoyed that simple setup, and I was just as happy playing live music then as I am now, and that really got my gears turning and started to think about, you know what, how much does gear really matter if the objective is telling the musical story? And my conclusion was, it doesn't matter that much. I mean, it does to a point. I mean, you still need a computer to edit videos or record music on, and you still need a guitar, but you don't necessarily have to have the super most expensive stuff ever to achieve your goals. Now, I can already see the comments, oh, that's easy for you to say, Fluff. You have a bunch of super cool amps and guitars and awesome gear that I'll never be able to afford. Yes, that may be true now, but that wasn't always the case. It actually wasn't the case until very recently, in fact. And the fact of the matter is, I mixed for 2 years with just Reaper and using the stock plugins and was totally happy to do so forever. I didn't know anything else. But in a guitar sense, I played the same 2 guitars for 15 years. I played my Ibanez and my Strat. I've had my Strat since 1994, and that was the one guitar that I always carried around with me and packed with me wherever I lived or went. I didn't even have a case for like the first 6 years I had it. I had the world's worst gig bag, and I was totally fine with it. I was totally fine with it because I was just doing what made me happy, and that's really all that matters, and that's what really should matter with all of this stuff. Gear can help you go a long way, but it will still never make you happy. I mean, what if you had all the money in the world and had all the choices gear in the world, and you were still making kind of crappy music that you weren't really into? That would suck. Case in point, The Clash, back in the day, used to tour huge arenas using little tiny Fender combo amps on chairs they found backstage. You don't need much. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine has toured with the same PV412 and Marshall cab for his entire career. I mean, that's all he needs. He doesn't need any fancy Marshall stacks, and he doesn't need a bunch of rack gear either. We're going back downstairs now. I needed some snippers. I was talking to my friend DM from Caught Alive Media, who takes all the rest were posed band pictures, and he worked closely with Jared Dines. And the same thing can really be said about a lot of stuff, photography included. You don't need a big fancy camera to take pro level photos. An iPhone can do that. An iPhone can take amazing video as well. You don't need a huge fancy DSLR to make awesome YouTube videos, because content is king, not gear. And I think that is best summarized up by this meme that I recently saw, which is hilarious. Despite not being true bypass. I love it. Anyways, that was all I really had to say. I just had that thought, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna film it. And I'm gonna tell everybody, because I can, I suppose. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Probably next time.